Today, inshallah, Khalid, we need to know more about the rest of the chapters of writing to imagine the skills of the test maker. Of course, we have some mention like miscellaneous topics or miscellaneous skills in language. We must have some questions, but not too much. The first one, it's about the confusing words, the use of the word, the structure of the word. For example, as you know, affect, effect. The word effect, most common noun, but it can be verb. Affect, it's always verb. Effect with E, it can be verb and it can be noun, but it depends on the use and the structure. Here, for example, here we have subject, can bound the subject. So affected must be verb. So you need with the A. Here we have adjective, here we have noun, and we have preposition. So it must be noun, not verb, because already we have the verb. So here it must be. So the structure, the use, the position of the word tells you it's a verb or noun. And you know it. And as you see here, we have a list of some common words, confusing words, but this is not all. This is not all, but most of them. For example, here, this one, look, the difference, the same pronunciation, but the problem, here to climb, ascent, just like to jump, or to climb a tree, or to climb in a position. I can say the president's ascent. So as you see here, for Joel, having two parts. Look, so different meaning. Here assent as mean like agreement or to agree. So you must know everything about the word, verb and noun to imagine. Here difference between sure and ensure and ensure. This you can revise at home, it can help you. But remember, it comes in any test. But what kind of word? It depends on the test maker. And don't expect it to be easy. Or if you found the easy question, there's an opportunity for you to make it correct to give you a harder task. So revise this at home. Of course, as you know, we will test you for logical comparisons and the structure of the comparison with then or then. You must check. Perhaps you don't need then all the time. You can use then for order of affirmation. So be careful. Here, have and of. Have standard, of non-standard. As I told you, sometimes they will test you like that. Could have avoided. But in non-standard conversation style, they don't pronounce have, could have, could have. Just like similar sounds, could have. You see, could have, sometimes could have. But standard, you must have structure correct. So be careful. If the structure needs a have, they change it to of. Common mistakes. So we will test you for a standard and the non-standard use of language. Formal, not formal. That's why I will send you a list of formal and not formal to avoid them. Very important. Sometimes we test you for the modifiers like the adjective countable or not countable, expect the noun after. So we have exceptions in language. Look, amount of time. I cannot say number of time, but I can say number of times if I'm talking about meetings, for example. So we need to be careful. Just some simple points you can revise at home. Of course, we must give you one question or two about is it active or passive. And I told you the passive form verb to be plus past participle. This is called for passive. Verb to be can take any form. Can be am, is, are, can be was being, is being, maybe, could be, should be. The verb to be can take any form of the tenses. It can be has been, had been, would have been. It can be plus past participle. If you found this structure, it's a passive. Something again, the subject did not do the action. In the passive voice, the subject did not do the action. For example, the pencil picked, no. Again, the list announced, no. The subject did not do the action. This is called the passive. And the verb to be plus past participle. Verb to be here takes the form of past simple, was. So no problem, it can be any tense. It depends on the writer. But look for the active. The active is the opposite. The subject did the action. Who or what announced? She. So correct. Logically, meaningfully correct. Here, who picked? I. So it's active. And of course, we don't have verb to be plus past participle. That's why. I don't understand.
Yes.
Right. Let's proceed up. Of course, for commas and while. Commas and while. Let's see. For example, you know, while can mean during a time that, and sometimes it means although or whereas. So while takes many functions. And today I will send a big file about the uses of the academic writing will be in the test. Here, if while is used to mean at the time, look for that meaning, very important. It's required to wear a hard hat while visiting, subordinated conjunction. But here it means during a time. We don't use look again. Sometimes when you read, you will find while plus comma. So you feel nervous about complete sentence, subordinated conjunction, complete sentence full stop correct. But here we have subordinated conjunction. Why do we have comma? So we have comma for two reasons. The first one, that while, it does not mean during, it means although, whereas. So you need comma. Why? To make difference between them, to help the reader. So why the writer use comma? To help the reader to understand that while means although. So you need comma. Remember, it comes in the test. You will answer it in test, by the way. But check. Do we have complete sentence? Subject, verb, complement, subject, verb, complement, so correct. The first rule. And then check the meaning. Is it although? Is it contrast? Survive by only, and here by both. How only and how both? So contrast. That means you need comma. But the common rule in a subordinate conjunction in the middle, we don't need comma. Let me tell you about another exception at the same time. This is the rule. Subordinate conjunction in the middle, no commas. But sometimes we use comma before the subordinating conjunction if the second clause is not important, is not essential. So complete sentence, comma, subordinated conjunction, complete sentence, full stop, correct. When, if this clause non-essential. Non-essential. But in your test, we will put comma to confuse you. So the common rule without comma. But in your test, if you found the comma, keep away. Why? Because the test maker will not choose a question for something non-essential. All the time essential. But I'm telling you not to confuse if you found the comma. But here for while, it's exception. Not all the subordinated conjunctions. Very important. So now for the next point. Prepositional idioms. Of course, we will test here. This is the hardest part in any test because you need to memorize. Here, for example, Poppy was afraid by the dark or of the dark. He is terrified, you know. Imagine he has fear of something, so it must be of, not by the dark. Do you see? And so he is fearful of the dark, not the dark makes him frightened. But that means we need of, not by. Of course, we'll test you for exceptions like agree about or agree with. So you agree about an idea, but you agree with person. So both of them correct about or with but the meaning. So be careful about prepositional idioms. Of course, here we have most of them, especially for noun. Known for something, known as something, known to be something. Remember, this is not fixed expressions, but it can be used with different prepositions. You see, point at, or point to, or point out. So everyone has different meaning. So be careful. Like I arrived, you see at or in, at with a small place, in with big place. Arrive at airport, but arrive in Egypt. So this is called here idiomatic expression. So be careful about the verb plus preposition, very important. In the test, we will not play tricks. In your test, we will not play tricks. We'll give you something common, something you read it in academic reading. That's why we need to read a lot. So Khalid, from now to the end of the life, in your reading, you read. If you find the prepositions, take care. Just like to help you. So you can revise this. Perfect, my dear. Here's the most common in the previous exams and test, of course. So you can revise. And so just like be careful about the common ones like this, anxious about or anxious from. So it's about you worried about something. And of course, the memory can help you like rely on, count on, depend on, contingent on can help you in recognition of most common, in hope, verb plus ing. Now all of these came responsible for plus a gerund. And I told you before, any preposition followed by verb plus ing, except for some exceptions like look forward to verb plus ing has to. So don't worry, you should revise and memorize. Now it's your turn. Give it a shot.
From?
So prevent from. Look, the writer used the non-essential information to confuse you, but prevent his delete, you will find the verb here. So from correct. Imagine it. Try another one.
D.
Or be.
So I was gonna say B, but maybe D. Mr. What's the difference between startled and surprised?
It's the idiom. You're surprised by something, not in or with, for the same meaning. So it is two for prepositions. So we change the word,
Mm.
it's a preposition. So we start with the by, can help you. That's why. And of course, you can answer the rest at home, but we need to test you for number 3.
D.
Letter D, it's correct. We have a trap. Is it singular or plural? Here, of course, we need noun, but C or D, this is a big trap. He said, if there were, look, and of course, if treatment, it has only one effect, it can be, don't guess, don't say, the treatment in life does not have only one. No, do you have evidence or not? So here we have bar, so it is plural, correct. Can keep the rest for your homework. Jump. Very important to answer and send it to correct, because we need to start exams very quickly. Now with the big chapter, very important, very, very important. And this is a question medium and hard. It's a question medium and hard. Let's call it for transition. Of course, the word transition, trans. Trans means we have, you need to cross, to jump from idea to another idea. So we have previous idea and following idea. The writer wanted to use the transition where, as I told you before, let's revise it. We have previous sentence and we have following sentence. The writer can use the transition word in three positions. Number one, before the following. So imagine this is second, this first. So following. So complete sentence, full stop, or semicolon, or calling, single dash, and then start a new sentence. So before he start, he used the transition words here, and then comma, and then start new sentence. So following, preface. If he use it at the beginning of the following, you need comma after in one of these. Look for the second position in the middle of the following. So complete sentence, full stop, semicolon, is the same. And we have calling. So start the second one. Subject. For example, comma, non-essential. Here the transition word, and then complete your sentence. So in the middle of the following, that is the following. Number three, at the end of the following. So complete sentence, full stop, semicolon, dash, calling, whatever it is. But we need the second one. Look, complete sentence, comma, transition word, full stop. And after it, we have new sentence again. So we have three. So if we found at the end, that means sentence one, sentence two, sentence three. As I told you, where is the relationship between one and two? So focus here. Between two and three, you must check the position. Remember, it will be in any test. Let's see examples. Here, for example, the transition. The transition word, we have fixed, most common transition, like for example, accordingly, therefore, you know them. And another one, it's called, it's made by the writer like that. Up close, what's more, transition expression to add. You must find where is the previous content, the previous sentence. Remember, I said sentence from full stop to full stop. Whatever the length is, it can be complex sentence or complex compound. And the new one. So you have only two sentences. You have only two. So the transition word at the beginning of the second, the following. So you need comma after and the full stop. This is called the punctuation. How about the meaning, the relationship? That is the point. Now let's read together to guess what is it. Let's read.
A.
So you think letter A?
Yes.
Why not to be C? Now let's guess. Under the circumstances of the preface, does the preface idea mention circumstances? And because of that happened, because he said under. So that happened before that? Or
No.
no? So is wrong. For example, what means example? Fact to prove something. If that's a fact to prove an idea here? No. So, and remember something, but that's not most common. If you found two like that, for instance, it means for example, so both of them wrong, of course. Same meaning. How to answer for one question. That means don't think about them. Think about A or C. Now you must prove A or C. Prove in one wrong or in one correct. One you prove.
Answer.
Which one must be correct? Let's prove why is wrong.
C.
Did he mention here circumstances?
No.
But did he mention evidence for close? Up close. This means you are close to do something. So the scene was much chaotic with big waves and strong tides. That means he's going to the highest point. Yes, that's why we have more chaotic. But that means here should prove in one as much as you can. So how about the meaning of the transitions? In the test, don't worry, we will not play with with unclear meaning of transition words, but I will send you the most common and the trick ones. So of course I want you to do the same to find the ideas. Here's some notes you can read at home. Come on. He said we have some mistakes to avoid. What's it? Is to plug in the answers back into the passage right away. It means you go to the answers and then go back to the passage. It can be. The problem is not about the mistake, but it's about how to deal with it. For example, as I told you, some students says, for instance, and for example, same meaning, delete and see, okay, that's correct. If they are the same meaning, but not by guessing, like 4 and delete it, so be careful. All right, so this one is okay, should read first. And then it's selecting the transitions that you are comfortable with. No, we need evidence. Comfortable, it means I know, for example, but I don't know up close. I choose, for example, we need evidence. What does it mean? So you must know the uses of the transition word. Very important. Here, not selecting transitions that you would not use in writing. We need evidence. For example, thus, what it's used for, cause and effect. So before we need cause, not effect. Now let's go to a big trap. Where is the previous content? So by your eyes, you will find like that. And the following must be after, of course, because you have comma. Maybe that is the second. Remember all the sentence. Remember something, Khalid, very important. If you read only these two, it will be wrong. You must read from the beginning. That is a mistake. Some students read only this. They imagine that I can answer it. Wrong. If it is like that, the test maker will not give you this information. Will give you that to help you. So this is written for use. Now let's read. Right. Now let's go to the uses of the transition. After all, from the meaning, after all the details, you are going to summarize idea. You are going to conclude an idea. You are going to give me the last point of idea. For example, you are going to give me fact, example to prove an idea before. However, of course, a contrast. We have opposite ideas, or you compare between two ideas. Further, you are going to add a fact here to the fact there, and both of them prove an idea before. So 0, 1, 2.
It is either A or D, so I would say D.
So letter D. Why? Let's see. We have a fact. It's additional fact to the preface, and both of them prove an idea. Do you imagine it? Yes, look, the idea is tradition plays the largest role, according to psychologists. Now, for many, look, a fact to this point. Process of doing, picking out, bringing natural scent, right? What else? Environmental impact. So, two evidence to an idea. So, imagine we have claim, you give me idea, and then furthermore or moreover, and then second idea. Remember this point, very important to the relation of additional. You add idea to preface idea, both of them to the preface point. Very important. That's a great point for you to delete PNC. So letter D, correct. This is just like a summary, but I will send you file with explanation and the exceptions and examples to help you. Remember, this is chapter very, very important. Right? You can memorize at home. Yeah, and this one has, like addition, all of them to tell you we add information like that. Furthermore, of course, over. And remember here, for of course, you add and emphasize. Be careful to the new ones for you, like hence. Here it can be here for thus. And remember, look, then, W's. You said then, so you are going to add details, what happened after. Then you are going to give me result. I'm sick. Then I have to go to the hospital now. It can be, so W's. That's why I'm telling you. Be careful about the word rather. Rather sometimes it means very, and rather sometimes it means opposite idea. Look for yet. It's not means up to now. It means whereas or however. Conversely, it's not an adverb from the word converse. Converse, as you know, conversation, the verb of converse, to talk. But here it does not mean that. It's opposite. Even so, it does not mean so. And sometimes you can use even without so. So be careful. Look for that at the same time. At the same time, it means two actions happened at the same time, but they are opposite. It can be. Look for after all, you are going to conclude or add opposite idea. It could be. So be careful. And the others like most common, as you know. So be careful, my friend. That's why. And look, besides it means you are going to add details and sometimes contrast. So different uses for the expression at the same time. Very important. Look for the agree, and for agreement or similar, the idea is the same. Like correspondently, respond. He responded to something that must be the same meaning, by the same token. Likewise, of course, look, of course here, or similar, and of course again, see, you are going to add. So the test maker can play tricks, but we check it by all means. It is most common. Remember, for expressions like that, look if it ultimately, you are going to summarize something. Finally, then briefly. So it means finally. Look, thus I can show us like we have a consequence. The consequence could be summary for the preface idea. It can be so different uses. That's what makes it hard. Of course, some idea, memorize as much as you can, because very important. Medium and hard questions. Opportunity for a hard score. Now let's try. You can look before you go to read, contrast here, but you should read. and always make it like that. You have two sentences. Let's read.
letter C.
Letter C, correct.
letter A.
Why not to be letter D? Remember, at the same time, it means two actions happen at the same time and they are opposite. But here it is similar. What means similar? Similar ideas. Two actions refers to the same action happened. What's going on? Look, species have developed. And look, similar. Many, look for fish and eagle the same. Can tuck their wings, develop. So here can develop, here can develop. So both of them are similar. That's the point. Don't think it's for instance. For instance,
Yes.
prove something related to the previous point or different. Look, so it's correct. Some students make like that. Mr. Contrast here wrong, contrast here wrong, but don't trust this way. But if you are confused, use it. Two similar, use. It's called the relation in grammar. So two similar relationships, delete it. So focus on example or similar. Try again. Do we have any similarity? No.
Therefore.
So number 3. Are you sure, my friend?
Yes.
So number 3, it must be letter B. Why? Therefore, cause and effect. That's the cause for this action. Cause, effect. That happened because of that. So because that happened? No. What is that example? Look, certain tech companies go to extremes to ensure employees enjoy. Give example, companies, and then example for the companies. It's the same idea. Yeah, provides workers with free meals. Make sure they enjoy. So I'm giving you examples. So the feeling of example, like we give you general word and then a specific one of them. So we can expect here specifically, or for instance, for example, of course, not contrast. That's great for me. More generally, we're not talking about general fact. I'm not talking about an idea. This is specific idea is a preface. So how more generally? So here letter B correct. Try again.
as a result.
So for its letter A, don't be in a hurry. It's no why. Where is the preface idea? Look, this trap start from here because it's in the middle of the second sentence. So this one to this one, not this two to this two. That's the mistake. There were no hummingbirds in New York. How you said no, and how you said that when my mother put out a hummingbird feeder, I was immediately proven wrong. Hummingbirds arrived to the next. You give me example that we have already. But how you said no? That means contrast. We have a trap. On the other hand, you compare between two ideas. You compare between two ideas, and you're talking about difference between them. But here we don't have two ideas. With something proves that is opposite, right? That's correct. As a result, it means cause and effect. Is that is the reason for that? That happened because of that? Cause, effect. The reason for this. So that happened because of that. Always imagine it like that. Can help you. Let's try again.
Later.
So, yes, that's the point. Accordingly, cause and effect. So after studying them, we'll find inshallah so easy. So we'll keep the rest for your homework as usual. So you are so lucky you have a lot. Look, many of them waiting for you. Very lucky man. Look, look, look. Don't worry. Now we'll go to